No, I didn't make quick. Okay, yeah, well, it's fine, yeah. So,
That's fine to me.
So yeah, heads up, like, this is gonna be, like, super bizarre to people on YouTube, I imagine.
How so?
Cause, like, every single, like, podcast episode has to have a little, like, number in the corner, right? And it's like, that's the number of, like, the podcast, we're on, right? Like...
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. It's like, when we got to Tamer's, I started doing, like, each, like, stream and, like, splitting them up into, like, 3 episodes individually, because, like, of course, like, we had a lot to talk about that show, so it, like, made sense. So that's gonna be, like, what's the number for this one? It's gonna be something like, I think, like, 86?
Yeah.
No, this is gonna be like, alright, this is like podcast number 87 we'll be doing.
Okay.
But it's like, I'm still gonna be splitting it up, because it's like 2 different series, and I don't want people have to watch through like 26 episodes of Shaman King to know about Ghost Game.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, is just split it up like you would've...
Yeah.
Like you was doing the other things.
But yeah, that's gonna create the weird situation where people are just gonna look over and there's gonna be like, podcast number like 87 is going to be like, just listed to 2 different videos for 2 different series. And I guess people are just gonna have to like run with that.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it's no big deal, but it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I feel like it would probably bug me a bit. Being like as weird as I am about it.
Just don't do it that way then. Just label the Ghost Game podcast as their own thing.
I mean, but I gotta keep the number going, right? Because we're almost at 100. Number go up.
We'll keep labeling the Shaman King. Like, I don't...
Like, this is a problem I've made out of nothing, and you're trying to find solutions to the problem I made out of nothing. It's like...
Well, it's because I don't... I think I get it, but I don't know. It's a problem that goes away if you just stop numbering the podcasts like that.
Yeah, it's just something people are gonna have to, like, look at and be like, oh, alright, yeah, I get it. But yeah, effing Shaman King, holy crap.
Yeah. It's mostly a flashback episode, and a lot of the flashback is stuff we know.
Yeah, it's another weird thing. It's like, because now we're getting tempted to, like, cross-pollinate the jokes or whatever, right?
I mean, I was fully ready to keep talk of each series to itself.
Yeah, but the idea will always be there of like, oh hey, speaking of ghosts or whatever, and we like say a thing.
Well, despite the title Ghost Game, they're not actually ghosts.
But is there a game?
That I don't know. We've only seen 1 episode.
Right, so Shaman King.
Shaman King.
Where there are neither ghosts nor... Well, I guess, no, actually there are ghosts.
I was gonna say, wait. There are
Shaman
ghosts
King,
in the Shaman
which is no
fight.
ghosts whatsoever.
I guess I wouldn't call the Shaman fight a game. It's very serious.
Yes, it's... games can be serious,
Sure, but... Typically when you're referring to a game, you're not... Whatever.
Would the Shaman fight technically be like a death game?
I mean, you don't have to kill people, so I'd say no.
Okay, yeah, fair enough.
I'd say no because death isn't required. It's just that Hal's a psychopath.
Yeah. So, Spirit of Water...
Yeah, to address the elephant in the room. That's how he survived. He was just like, oh, I can't channel fire right now. Fine, I'll turn my familiar into water. And I don't know much about Onmyo monks, but I believe that's their whole thing is like mastery of elements.
Yes, this is
And
like
it's
actually something we've like established before. That's like, how his like mastery over all 5 elements, and that's how he's able to like reincarnate using his magic.
yeah, and so this happened, and it's like, oh, of course, that makes total sense.
Yeah, and of course, because it's like it's Spirit of War now. It's like strong against fire, so it like shields them from the blast.
Yeah.
And it's like,
So
yeah,
this
all right.
this implies that he can have spirit of metal, spirit of earth, spirit of let's see, what is it? Wait,
Wood.
wood? Yeah, spirit of wood.
Yeah, I think like wood, metal, and earth are like different things, aren't they?
Yeah, fire, water, wood, metal,
Yeah, I
earth.
don't know the Chinese like elemental like thing that well, but I believe that's what it is. Yeah.
They explain it and go into detail on each one and what beats what, but I don't
Yeah,
have room
it's
in my brain to internalize all of it.
yeah, it's like you have the pentagram and the like arrows on the pentagram shows like what's stronger against what other element, but then there are also like arrows going around to each like adjacent thing, and it's like, showing what can like create each other element, and it's like a whole like it's
And it
it's a
doesn't
whole
make
involved
sense.
thing, yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Metal creates water somehow.
Yeah, this is one of those weird things where it's like it doesn't really like add up, but it's also like part of mythology and stuff, and it's like, okay, yeah, like
I'm
this
sure
makes
it makes
sense to like that culture
someone.
at some point. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
I'm
you pass,
sitting
yeah.
I'm sitting here thinking of it like Pokemon, like strengths and weaknesses, where most of them make sense.
And you have like, oh, fighting is good against normal because it has to be.
Well, fighting is a disciplined, like trained, like it's like fight. It's like a martial artist versus a street fighter.
It's like if you go up and you swing fists at a bear, then I guess you're going to do better than the bear is.
It's more so it's like you're a normal average person, and then this trained warrior comes up. It's
Gotta
like
like,
you don't
yeah.
win. You don't win that.
You punch out a buffalo and it does more damage.
I'm not specifically referring to Pokemon in general. I'm just talking about like the concept.
Yeah. It's like there's a lot of weird typed things like that in Pokemon. Like I
I think
guess I get Fairy being good against Dragon, but it's also like, yeah, alright, yeah, sure.
because the like fairies and fae are like crazy. I don't know.
And there's a lot of weirdness, right?
I think I don't know. I think almost all of them make sense.
Yeah, it's like it's pretty logical, but it's also like I forget which ones. I remember like hearing some and being like, oh, that's a bit odd. Like, was there something like Bug is good against Dark or some crap? And it's like, well, alright, sure.
That one's a little iffy. If
Yeah.
anything, that would be like bug is like a lot of bugs are nocturnal. I don't know.
How's Bug type Spirit of Fire?
I mean, it would just be a swarm of bugs, wouldn't it?
Yeah, he just turns into a fighting type and it's just got giant boxing gloves.
No, it's just the form. It's still the form of like the spirit, but it's like fleshy and muscular.
I thought you were gonna
It's
say it's just made of tiny boxers.
no, it's just like it's a pillar, man.
Yeah, alright, that's up. Oh man.
So we're getting way sidetracked.
We're getting super sidetracked. But yeah, we get exposition this by like Yo's dad, the guy in the like Tengu mask, who's just like, and the manga is just like smoking a pipe through the bird mask while like reading a newspaper.
It's one of those really long, like really long pipes.
It's really weird because it's like a cigarette or something, but it's like the way you see it coming out of the mask makes like no physical sense because it'd have to be like going through the top of the beak.
Basically, I was asking if it's like a kiseru, which is like a long It's like one of those like the corncob pipe design.
Oh no,
like
no,
really...
it's like more of like an old cigarette or something. But like
Okay.
that'd be a good like yeah.
Well, it's
That'd be
because from what
smart.
I'm pretty sure Tengu are associated with those.
Yeah.
I think. um, yeah, it doesn't matter. So yeah. He expositions like how all the elements create each other and interact with each other, and I didn't internalize any of it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna matter that much.
Like, it might matter to the effect of, like, oh, someone gets, like, a wind spirit, and it's like, okay, yeah, this is gonna be good against this form or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I have to imagine that's, like, where this is going, right?
Well, I assume, yeah. What I'm saying is, like, I assume that if he transforms into another element and it's strong against the other thing, somebody's gonna go, "Whoa, he turned into the blank element because it's strong against their element." Like, I don't. I think they're going to explain it anytime it matters.
Yeah. Like, I have to imagine it's gonna lead to a situation at some point where it's like, like House fighting Team Yo or something, and we have to, have the whole thing where it's like Ryu figures out how to make like a metal element, and like, Faust figures out how to make like an earth like elemental attack or something.
And he has to deal
they
with
have
both
to
at
like
the same time.
Yeah, they have to like coordinate to like, sort of like counter the different forms of Spirit of Fire so Yo can like, go in and like finish him off or whatever.
Yeah.
Or not. That might just not happen at all.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out.
Yeah.
So yeah, How explains... No, he doesn't. He doesn't say a thing, does he? Not until he's really. Like, okay. He's like, you see Spirit of Fire holding up the souls of the 3 X-Laws that he killed. Yeah. And he's like, instead of just making you disappear, I'm going to have Spirit of Fire consume you and power him up. And he does that.
Yeah. I have to assume he doesn't do this that often, because he mentions it like, it's this, like, special reward for them or something, right? Like, I have to assume if he tries to, like, feed his spirit, like, too many souls at once, it would, like, be bad for it.
Maybe. How explains that he's whenever he fights, he's basically judging his opponent.
Oh yeah, that's a whole thing. Yeah,
and he's like, your recklessness is stupid, but I admire your courage to just die. Yeah. And so y'all are good.
You're good enough to be like fuel for my spirit. I suppose it's better than just being, like, burned up and never reincarnating or anything. You actually get to be, like, a part of the thing.
Yeah.
Which means they might still be alive in Spirit of Fire somewhere, or at least their ghosts would.
Yeah, their bodies are gone. Spirit of Fire, like, disintegrated them.
Whereas give them on, like, 20, like, episodes later where, like, Yo's trying to beat Spirit of Fire, and you see, like, Kevin's face appear on its chest and, like, fight back.
Yeah.
Just be like Undertale.
We get the closest thing to Yo revealing that Hal's his brother. Which it just happens later in the episode anyways, so
yeah.
What? Like, I don't know why they stopped it here.
It makes a little more sense in the manga because that's like the ending point of one chapter and the actual reveal is like the next chapter, but still, like, that's very soon to just like do the thing.
Yeah. So yeah, hard confirmation. We know that Yo is aware of his relation to Hal.
Yeah.
There's like a whole thing where he's just like, he's our ancestor, but also he's my older brother.
Yeah, so we have the big explanation that's like, Yo's grandfather? Yeah, his grandfather tried to, like, keep this from him and Anna, but they had sort of found out anyways. And he's like, it's a shame they found out, but I guess, like, as long as they're fine with it, this does make it a bit easier.
Yeah. I mean, Anna's a smart girl. It's not surprising that she knew.
Yeah.
Figured it out.
Yeah, he's just like, I want to, like, hide the truth because I didn't want to, like, weigh them down or be, like, a burden or whatever.
Yep. We get a bit more of the backstory behind the birth of Hao and Yo. I mean, it's like I said before, it's a lot of stuff we already knew.
Yeah, it's basically just like the same flashback we got before the start of the first episode, or I guess just right at the start, I should say. But like with a few more like expanded details that flesh it out a lot more.
Yeah, like how revealing immediately upon birth that like, oh, Spirit of Fire's catalyst is oxygen.
Yeah, because of course.
The baby, I assume, baby How's, I assume, communicating through Spirit of Fire telepathically, unless it's just him, which would be crazy.
I assume he's using Spirit of Fire for it, like, he's just, like, shooting the, like, voice through the air as his intermediary or whatever.
Yeah, and of course we get the thing where it's like, Yo's grandpa was like, they're having twin, or like, he doesn't. It's his wife, I think. And she's like, "What if they're twins?" He's like, "I'm gonna kill the baby." She's like, "What if they're twins?"
Yeah, I forget who his character is. I think it's like Anna's grandma or something. It's something like that. Yeah, I know it was like they explained what our deal was in the manga, but I can't actually remember. It was a while back.
I just assumed she was his wife.
It might be. I think she's like one of Anna's relatives, though.
That's weird. That's too closely related.
I don't think they're literally married. I think it's just like, they just look similar.
Yeah, you
like
know what?
They're just old mentors.
Yeah, that could be the case. They're not related to each other in the slightest. What was I? Right. So it's like, what if they're twins? And he's like, oh, we have to kill both of them.
Yeah, we can't leave that up to chance.
And then, as we know, he fails.
Yeah, they, like, go do the, like, thing with the Shikigane, like, hesitates for a second, and, like, Spirit of Fire comes out, wrecks them. We see that, like, Yo's dad, who we, like, just hard confirmation is straight up, this guy is Yo's dad, with, like, the, like, fox spirit and whatever. And it's like, I'm just now realizing that it's like a fox spirit and like, like a Tanuki spirit, and they have the same tails as like Conchi and Ponchi.
Uh-huh.
So it's like, oh, this is what those things are supposed to look like. Yeah. These are the cool versions of them. But yeah, they like blasted through, and like, Spirit of Fire just like shoots fire at his face, which probably explains the mask, honestly.
Yeah, I think that's because we see him like with his face bandaged up afterwards.
Yeah.
We also learned something that I didn't really think about, and it's that Yo is Hal's twin, so that means Yo has some amount of Hal's power.
Yeah.
Which would explain why Yo is so stupidly strong.
Yeah, it's like, this is a weird thing, right? Because it's like, I'm thinking back, right? It's like, oh yeah, remember when Yo first like forms an oversoul and he physically like can't maintain it because he like kind of sucks at this point?
Yeah.
And he has to go on the whole spirit journey through the cave and stuff. And like, and now because he's like all this training and he's like all these power-ups, now he's like stupidly strong. But it's like, it's kind of implied he was like meant to get this strong all along, because he's like, he's like Hal's other half technically.
Yeah, Hal, it's Hal's mind, so he knows how to, he already knows how to use his powers. And it's like, and it's like Yo has access to some amount, like probably not Spirit of Fire specifically, but like Yo is powerful like Hal. It's just he needs more training because he doesn't have Hal's mind.
Man, how crazy would that be if, like, Yo just, like, showed up to a fight and he's like, oh yeah, this is something I just figured out after reading through the book. And he pulls out another Spirit of Fire.
It'd be cool. It'd make for a battle where they're, like, fighting each other and, like, their spirits are changing elements to try to get the upper hand on each other.
Yeah, because I don't think Yo could do the element changing thing, but Yo what he could do? Spirit of Fire into Spirit of Sword. He's like, alright, let's do this.
Hey, who knows what crazy things this revelation will allow.
Man. But yeah, that does honestly make sense now I think about it, because it's like, now I'm thinking it through, it's like, Hal's probably so strong because he had, like, all the knowledge from, like, the book and all the spells and stuff.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes a lot of sense that, like, as soon as Yo gets access to the book, he also becomes way more powerful than everyone else.
That could? I don't think so, because they're because Hal makes a point of saying when he's a baby that, like, yeah, I'm going to like basically regain my other half at some point, which implies that he needs to fuse with Yo to
maybe he just needs Spirit of Fire to eat Yo.
I don't think so, because
no,
if that's the case, then why not just kill Yo when he's weak?
And like, how is, like, he has a lot that he's like, he wants Yo to, like, toughen up and become stronger and stuff, so, like, maybe he, like, can't get his full power back until Yo reaches his full potential.
Maybe.
Like, maybe it's like, if Yo's, like, not, like, spiritually strong, then, like, he'd, like, be less valuable to Hal when he, like, tries to fuse back, or, like, whatever. Yeah, maybe it's not even that. Maybe Hal just wants Yo to, like, fight with him and, like, join his team.
That could be it. Maybe he just wants Yo to just join him.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, Yo's my other half, and he's like, so we have to do this together. But it's like, I don't know. Yeah, it's a weird thing either way, because it's like, Hal seems so strong right now, it's hard to imagine anyone really, like, standing against him.
Yeah, even Yo at the moment, like, unless his chill aura is actually strong enough to deflect Spirit of Fire, just impaling him instantly, like...
Yeah. Like, the one thing I could see it's, like, throws, like, a whole wrench into Hal's plans is that, like, we still don't know what that, I assume, is, like, a Buddhist group or whatever's gonna do, right? Like, we don't know if the leader of that group or whatever is, like, also stupidly strong, even though, because, like, they have been, like, mentioned before, but, like, yeah.
The Buddhist group is gonna die, like everybody else who fights Hal.
What if they, like, show up and they start, like, putting up a really good fight and they beat, like, John or something, or Joan, whatever, Miss Maiden. Jean. What if she, like, beats Jean and it's like, oh crap, this person's actually really legit?
I think that would be kind of crazy, but I don't think any of the other participants matter right now. Not even the X-Laws.
Yeah.
Like, this is kind of a problem, and it's that Hal seems so unbelievably powerful that I don't really care about anyone else who fights him, because they're not gonna win.
Yeah. I care a bit, because, like, it's like they kind of mentioned with the last whole thing. It's like, even if they don't beat Hal, they can at least, like, show new stuff he can do and, like, help other people strategize.
But with how forthcoming Hal is with that information, I don't think it matters.
Well, I know it might, because he was forthcoming with the Spirit of Fire thing, but also, like, there's this whole other thing in the episode where it's like, I will, like, switch images for this, because, like, we get a mention that, like, the announcer guy basically managed to, like, get Hal's fight on tape, right? And he, like, got close.
Yeah.
And, like, Silva's like, hey, give me the tape. And the guy's like, no, I don't want you to be involved or more. And Silva just takes it. And he's like, no, I gotta, like, find a way to stop Hal. So it's like, this feels like it does kind of low-key imply that, like, Hal might have other secrets that, like, Silva might be able to, like, reveal, right?
Well, that's not the impression I got at all. The impression I got at all because the impression I got because the other guy says something and he says, "I got the whole fight on tape," and Hal didn't even notice. You know what I like almost guarantee is going to happen when Silva watches that tape?
Hal's gonna be looking right at the camera.
Yes. He's going to be watching it, and then Hal is going to look directly into the camera and smile.
That's gonna be so good if that happens.
I guarantee that if we get a scene where Silva's watching that tape, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm just imagining that scene from, like, Hunter x Hunter where, like, Hisoka does the card trick and they, like, look back through the video footage using their nin abilities and they see, like, the extra hidden, like, string in the background that he's blocking. Like, Silva's just watching through, he's like, wait, how does, like, this hand sign before he, like, changes the spirit's nature, and we just didn't see it. And he's like, oh, if we stop Hal from moving his hands, maybe we can stop him from changing Spirit of Fire.
And then Hal's gonna look at the camera and smile to be like, haha.
Yeah.
maybe I did it on purpose to throw you off.
And this is, like, one of those interesting things where it's like, I have no idea where it's going, but feels like this has to lead somewhere. Like, I can't imagine this being, like, thrown in as, like, a plot point for nothing, right?
I don't know.
And we also get, like, a bit of, like, some other members of the Patch Tribe being like, oh yeah, Silva's getting, like, wrapped up in some stuff, maybe we should do something or whatever.
They call him a traitor specifically.
Yeah, so maybe that's just gonna be the big payoff. It's just like, Silva, like, can't find anything, but because of this, he ends up getting killed, and, like, that leads to a whole other thing in the plot.
Well, I'm kind of confused because, like, I thought the Patch Tribe was, despite the fact that they're supposed to be like impartial for the whole Shaman fight, it's very clear that they want Hal to fail.
Yes, they just can't act on it.
Yeah, so I'm very confused as to why anyone in the tribe sees somebody like going rogue and it's like, I'll take matters into my own hands, and then they're like, oh, we gotta stop him. And it's like, why?
Maybe they won't even stop him, because, like, think about, like, maybe they're just gonna, like, tell Hal, like, oh yeah, this guy has, like, this information, do with that what you will. And, like, that could lead to, like, everyone's favorite shonen trope where, like, the big bad just kills the mentor figure and the hero freaks out about it. Because, like, I don't know if there'd be anything on that tape that Hal would, like, care that much about, but if there is, and he does kill Silva, that's pretty telling.
Yeah. Hey, I'm all for it just to subvert my expectations, but I feel like this show is fairly predictable.
Yeah, it's like, so far it's like, I feel like there's been some stuff that's been, like, really kind of, like, crazy and, like, left turns and stuff, but it's like, it's pretty standard shonen fare, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I like that, it's not like an insult against the show or anything, but it's like, yeah, like, so far there hasn't been, like, many, huge, like, curveballs that, like, make me think, like, oh, this is, like, gonna go in some weird, crazy direction, if that makes sense.
Yeah, My Hero Academia is, like, the most formulaic shonen anime, and it's great.
Yeah, like, I'm not expecting, like, what would be, like, a good example for this? Crap, this is actually hard, because I don't want to, like, spoil things. But yeah, I'm not Crap, where do I go with this?
I have no idea.
Because I felt like I had that example in mind and it just like left, and I'm just like, ugh.
Well,
Like,
I do have...
I'm not expecting this to. Well, I don't know. That's probably not true.
Well, I do have something else to say that's relevant to the episode,
Yeah.
and it's that we learn that Spirit of Fire comes directly from the Great Spirit.
Right, yeah, that's a whole thing.
Which also explains why it's so stupidly powerful.
Yeah. And because, like, how could just change its element? It's like, oh, yeah, this double explains why he specifically wanted this thing.
Yeah. If Spirit of Fire reintegrates back with the Great Spirit, which how having the Great Spirit like was already like bad,
Yeah.
but it's like if he gets it and reintegrates it with a thing that was already from it in the first place, it's like, whoa.
Yeah, that's because like that'd probably make it way easier for him to control it, right?
Yeah.
It's like, once that happens, it's like, yeah, game over. How's just God now?
What
like,
is...
how are we gonna fight the the cumulative like force of like every soul ever to exist?
So here's another thing. What is Hal's goal?
No idea. He just seems to want the Great Spirit and he wants Yo for something.
Is he trying to rule the world? What is...
Actually, wait, no, we did learn this. I'm an idiot, because we had that flashback where he's like, oh yeah, I want to, like, create a paradise for shamans or whatever. Which would probably include, like, wiping out all the non-shamans.
Right, okay. Yeah, I remember. Okay.
So yeah, his goal's probably, like, just straight up genocide.
Okay, yeah. Bad goals, gotta stop him.
Gotta stop him, yeah.
What
I will
else?
say one thing, it's like, I do know how the series ends, and it's way less, like... I feel like it's one of those things where it's like, you probably aren't gonna be able to, like, guess how that goes down. So there are, like, some unexpected, like, tricks and turns left.
Yo fuses Hal into him. Instead of the other way around.
And Yo uses that energy to just wreck Rin in the finals.
That just wouldn't be fair.
Like, Rin just gets this big fight where he's just like, yo, he's like learned all these techniques, and he's like, no, I have to really push myself, I gotta like prove my worth, and Yo's just standing there with like Hal inside of him, and he's wielding like twin swords made out of the Spirit of Fire, and Yo's just like, sorry Rin, you can't, you don't have a chance.
I've become far too powerful. I want to believe that Shaman King doesn't Naruto itself at the end.
Oh man. And Danto a moment where like Orochimaru gets away with everything.
Yeah. I was also gonna make another comparison to Naruto. Right. It's we're told immediately instead of like having this drawn out thing where Yo is like, oh, the hard work and determination and blah blah blah. And it's like, yeah, you're only strong if you like work for it or whatever. But then the show is just like, no, he's half of Hal's power, and Hal is stupid strong. So it's like, okay, we know that Yo is like just kind of powerful by default, and that's okay.
This honestly does kind of feel like the Naruto problem, where it's like, yo, Naruto's like, oh yeah, hard work and like, yo, I'm gonna like train and yo, I'm gonna make the best of what I've got and stuff. And it's like at every turn you kind of look back because big reveals happen that make the main character more and more important. And it's like, oh, Naruto was just like a divine godchild who was like destined to succeed all along.
Yeah, but I get the impression that Yo still has to actually work for it.
Yeah,
he can't make a million shadow clones of himself that can all learn something that takes 100 years and like fuse back together and learn it in a day.
Yo still had to, like, walk through a cave so hard he literally died, just so he could, like, stand a chance against Rin. And even then, he, like, barely wins.
Yo's new power boost was the effort of 2 months.
Well, 3 months, but yeah.
Yeah, however long it was like, it took a while. Like, Yo actually, we didn't see it or anything, but Yo trains, and it takes a while, and he's rewarded for it.
Yeah, I feel like that's the one thing. It's like, I really wish we got to see just a bit of that training, right? Because I don't need, like, you know, hyper-specifics or more. I just want to have, like, a moment where we kind of see what that looks like, and we see a bit of Yo's struggle.
Yeah, and we could see it for the other characters that are training with him, like Ryu and Faust. That's his name.
But yeah, I feel like that's, like, about all I have to really say out this episode. You have any other thoughts?
Nah, that's pretty much it.
I guess, like, one last thing we didn't really talk about, it's like, now that we have, like, the full context for the episode 1 flashback, how do you feel about that just happening right at the start of the series, and then coming back to happen again?
It's weird. I didn't need to see the circumstances of Yo and Hal's birth. I could have waited until now, and it wouldn't have bothered me.
Yeah, I'm serious. Like, I feel like if we did know from the outset, then episode 1 probably could have been paced way better.
Yeah.
And, like, and it's also, like, it, like, probably would have, like, you know, not going away a lot of stuff that, like, was slowly drip-fed later on.
Yeah. It also might have been good, like, there's a lot of, like, hints to the viewer that would make it obvious anyways. But it's like, I don't know, we could have gone a while without actually knowing that Hao is Yo's brother.
Yeah, it's like, if we didn't know, we could have had, like, fun speculation, or, like, you know, why does Hao look like Yo? And it's like, okay, they're related. It's like, is that all there is to it, though? And we could have had, like, you know, some stuff with that, maybe.
Yeah. Oh, also supposedly Silva's a direct descendant of Hao. Like, he says his blood flows in his veins.
I mean, he is a member of the Patch tribe, so that makes sense. That checks out.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. It kind of sounded to me like he was saying that he was a direct descendant.
Yeah, like, maybe it's more of a direct line than, like, you know, the others. I'd believe that. That makes sense.
Yeah, maybe I'm just reading too much into it.
Yeah. But I feel like he does kind of look a bit more like Hal than some of the others, right?
Yeah. A lot of, like, almost all the Patch tribe, unless they're, like, old, have black hair, and it's, like, long. Yeah. Like, he does have a striking resemblance to Hal. I think Yo even mentions at one point that he looks like Hal. Yeah,
they, like, kind of feels like Hal or something like that.
Yeah.
I feel like that was, like, a thing at some point. Yeah, that makes sense, I think.